on your competition, especially when you get into these shootouts. When you have the football more, you're going to score more, of course. Highly disciplined team, too, a team that doesn't turn the ball over very much, the Redbirds.
They certainly do not. Again, they took advantage of an early fumble by the Raiders, and that goes out of bounds again. So good field position for East Peoria.
Perhaps some deja vu. This is where East Peoria's last drive started. A couple good plays, set up that 4th and medium, and Oakman to Hinder did the rest.
And Hinder, 4 touchdowns in his last 2 games, and came into tonight with 6 touchdowns on the season. So we'll see what this EP offense can bring to the table here as Oakman trots back out to the huddle. Again, Dalton, you saw Dalton Oakman perhaps at his best that he's ever been in his high school career last year in that game against Canton.
One of the most electrifying games I've ever had the pleasure to call. Yeah, Oakman was slicing and dicing the Little Giants defense. Looking to do more of that here tonight. Plenty of time to do so.
I'll take the snap and hand off to Jackson, who got wrapped up in the backfield. Read right away. Looked like that was Grady Neal, the junior.
Yeah, Neal coming off the edge. We talked about setting the edge is something important for both these defense to do. Neal was right there. Wasn't fooled by any misdirections. Wasn't fooled by anything. Taking down the strong R.J. Jackson for a loss of a couple yards.
Again, this Metamora defense is out for blood tonight. Already multiple tackles for loss. So again, I think Jackson going to be a big key to this East Peoria, whether or not they can win, because again, he was very limited in their losses, but in their wins, Dalton, again, he's got 5 100-plus yard games this season. Here's an outside pass. It's hindered again on that screen. And a good pickup there of about 12 to 13.
And good blocking as well on that wide receiver screen. Keemon Lee, big 6'4", 195-pounder, was there to clear a little bit of extra turf for Hinder.
And Lee, 6'4", 195, you just mentioned. Always good to have wide receivers out there that and just are big bodies. Again, you see it, maybe it's more important maybe at the lower levels, high school, college levels. But look at a guy, for example, James Johnson on Washington. Big guy, 6'4", 220 or so. He does a lot, kind of helping set that edge. As Jackson galloping through the hole, trying to run a man over, still going. R.J. Jackson and Jadon Cranford collide. A lot of speed and talent there, and Jackson picks up about 20.
Jackson evades a couple guys that had hit the turf and then takes on his counterpart head on. Cranford against Jackson, and Jackson gets the better of him that time for his best run of the day.
You saw Jackson's strength. Again, he's a little bit more of a tougher runner, 5'8", 200 pounds. Not the biggest guy, but definitely hard to bring down. He'll get the call again, and he gets wrapped up by a black hat. A lot of guys in there on that play. With Caden Pontoni and Caleb Morrison. He might have been in there for the Redbirds.
Quickness off the edge is what this defensive line of the Redbirds is going to need if they're going to catch Jackson, because we see, as 2 plays ago serves as evidence for, when he gets a little bit of space, it's all he needs for a big game.
Game slowing down a little bit. East Peoria content to chew some clock. Standing at the Redbird 36 officially. And they got, looks like Lee on the bottom of your screen. They're going to run a reverse sweep here. Look at the carry from Hindert. Some trickery for the Raiders. Picks up almost first down yardage.
Beautiful play call. Coach Durley completely convincing the defense that they were going to go right back to Jackson, and he fooled me as well. A nice little sweep end-around play to Hindert, who gets into some open turf. Great play call, and Metamora's lucky that Hindert's not celebrating in the end zone right now.
We have seen a lot of trick plays, I feel like, all around the area this season.
I saw one last week, and I was doing Bloomington Central Catholic versus St. Joseph Ogden, where BCC, Valshawn Powell, who was playing quarterback at the time, threw a nice easy pass to a receiver, and the receiver turned around and hands it to the right tackle. I don't.
The right tackle.
The right tackle comes off. I can't remember his name for the life of me. He comes off and takes a handoff from the receiver who just caught the ball, and it went for a gain of 12 or whatever. But yeah, I don't know if they have a name for that one in the playbook. But and I don't think I'm ever going to see that again.
Eat.
There you go. Perfect. Perfection. I love it. I don't know if I'm ever going to see that again, but I agree. There's been kind of a weird amount of flea flickers and whatnot in the IHSA season this year. I'm not complaining. It's entertaining.
No, I like watching as well. Normal Community has run some ones to perfection this season. We've seen a couple on our games as East Peoria, it's like they're going to call a timeout here with 9.7 to go. So not quite sure what the game clock was, or play clock rather, was at. It's not on right now. So again, they'll talk things over here, 3rd and 6. But Dalton, speaking of big man touchdowns, I don't know if you saw this at all. Peoria High's Jaquarius Green scored his first career touchdown last week, picked up a fumble, and returned it in again. If you haven't seen Jaquarius Green, 6'4", 375 pounds, the biggest player in the area by far.
And he scored his first touchdown?
Yeah,
that's incredible.
And he looked pretty nimble too on the highlight that I saw.
I bet he did. I mean, the guy's a senior, been starting on that offensive line since he was a freshman, so he's got plenty of experience running around out there. Yeah, he's the size of 2 linemen. He's a big, big guy at right guard for Peoria High, but good on him for scoring his first career touchdown. I'm not going to lie. I never thought those were words I was going to hear.
You never know what the football season will bring here in Central Illinois. Probably last play of the first quarter. Oakman looking for a screen. No, he's going deep. It's brought in. What a catch by the Raiders. It's a touchdown with 2.9 to go. Guess who, Dalton? Aiden Hinder.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that ball was right in the breadbasket. Off the left hand of Oakman, right where it needed to be for Hinder to not only haul in the pass, but stay on his feet, inbounds, and find the corner pylon for 6.
And Oakman fooled me out. His eyes looked like he was going to go for that tunnel
Snake
screen.
eyes.
And he went deep to Hinder, who's now got nearly 100 yards of receiving, if not already that, and 2 touchdowns. Putting up a first half much like he did last week. The kick is up, and it is good. So another great response and another great play out of the timeout from Sam Durley.
Whatever he's drawing up in there, it's clearly working. These big plays is something EP might have to rely on throughout the course of this game. Certainly worked here in the first quarter. What an entertaining game we have on our hands.
Back and forth we go, and East Peoria, again, not going away early. They have found the response. And again, Hinder last week, again, sort of all 3 of his touchdowns had, again, about 150, 160 yards, somewhere in that neighborhood just in the first half last week. And heck, he could even exceed it here tonight.
Certainly on pace to exceed that mark. And won't be the last time we're going to be calling his name. When you're hot, you're hot. And Oakman's left arm seems to be hot as well. So I don't even know if he's thrown maybe 1 incomplete pass thus far. He's done very nice hitting his open men.
He really has. And again, he came into tonight with completing exactly 50% of his passes. He's had some very great games and some tough ones as well. Their 2 losses against Dunlap and Washington. He was 6 of 17 for 53 yards, no touchdowns. Then against Washington, he was 5 for 24, 45 yards and 3 picks. A very tough day at the office, but he rebounded very well last week. 10 for 18, 327 yards and 5 tutties.
Yeah, I think it's just something that naturally happens when you play, 2 state-ranked teams in Washington and Dunlap. Your play may take a hit. You're going up against some of the best athletes in this area.
So the kick is away. This will be the final play of the first quarter as Pickles has the return. He's still going. Pickles across the 40, the 50. Pickles into Raider territory. He's going to get caught, but a wonderful return to end this first quarter. All down and back and forth we go in this first quarter from the East Side Center. We'll be right back after this. Don't go anywhere. It's Clutch Sports Media on CIProud.com.
Sam Lehman & Morton, the #1 Ram truck dealer in Illinois and largest Ram dealer in the Midwest. This month, take $20,000 off a brand new Ram 1500 Laramie when you finance through Stellantis. or save over $23,000 on a Jeep Wagoneer S. Plus, take $12,000 off a brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee L. All this and more during the Drive Into Fall event at Sam Lehman of Morton, where we do the deals no one else will.
We believe solar energy should be as dependable as the sun itself. Now, imagine your energy company felt the same way. In an industry full of overblown promises and hazy fine print, we're here to be the light in the dark. Ready to explore solar with a partner you can trust? Visit www.suncollectors.solar.
And welcome back here to East Peoria again, and word for Clutch Sports Media Overtime, the home of all of our written coverage. Subscribe there again at clutchsportsil.com/overtime. As here we go, a deep play and an incompletion. They're thrown by Petrie.
This is where you got to get gritty for the East Peoria defense. You know, you gave up a huge return at the hands of Jason Pickles, who's had himself quite the first half as well, but you got to get gritty. You know, you're backed up. Metamora's threatening to score their what would be their fourth touchdown, but got to stand strong here.
And big plays all over the place. Pickles has caught a 60-yard touchdown pass. Almost lost track of all the big plays we've seen already tonight. 2nd and 10 from the 23. As it's a give to Cranford. First door closes, and the second one also closed as well. Tackle made there by Asher Bailey.
And Bailey getting rid of offensive lineman that was trying to block him and gets loose. The big man finds Cranford, gets a hold of his jersey, and does not let go.
So 3rd and 12 now. This is a big opportunity for the Raiders. Dalton, again, probably not in field goal position here, so if you can force an incomplete pass or short yardage.
This is a tough field goal at the high school ranks. Metamora is going to need some forward progress here.
Longest third down they've had tonight. They'll go to their trusty back, Cranford, the Northern Illinois commit, and he only got about back to that original line of scrimmage. It'll be about 4th and 10.
4th and 10 in decision-making time for Coach Dolinsky. Does he want to keep the offense out there? This would be a pretty big risk, although you are in Raider territory, so you know, if you don't get it, it serves kind of like a punt anyway. It's not like Raiders are going to be taking over possession in prime territory in that regard, but looks like he is going to keep the offense out there. Needs 8 to keep the drive going. This could be a killer.
As 4th and 8 officially. Again, most teams would be a passing down, but Metamora also has Jadon Cranford in that backfield. They might run the ball here on 4th. Loaded defensive front here for the Raiders. 8-9 men in the box. They'll pass it. Play action. Caught by McMillan. He gets pushed out. No touchdown, but the Redbirds keep the chains going.
McMillan got to get him going, and that's a huge way to do so. Nice smooth play action pass, and Petrie throws a nice tight spiral to McMillan, who gets a first down and a couple more.
So again, McMillan, the Macomb transfer. He's a senior. This is his first and only season as a Redbird, and leads them in receptions and right near the top, nearly tied with Bittner in yards and receiving touchdowns as well. Here's a handoff. Cranford in for number 3 tonight. Jadon Cranford having himself what could be a career game. There's a flag on the play.
Yeah, I believe the flag came out after Cranford broke the play, and so not sure if there's a late hold or a hands to face or whatever it may be, but Cranford just taking the rock with authority each and every time he gets that football. And he is in. Count him up. 1, 2, 3 already, and there's still 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. Video game numbers from the future Husky.
Oh, one day you might even be able to play as Jadon Cranford in a video game. I'll just pick up a copy of NCAA football 27 next year. Cranford might be in it.
I wouldn't mind that at all. He'd probably be a good one to use.
I'm going to use the editor, and whatever ratings they give him, I'm bumping every rate up to 99.
Perfect. Why not? I mean, that's how he's playing out there tonight.
There is a flag. It was on Metamora. It happened after the touchdown occurred, though. So they will keep the PAT unit out there. The touchdown counts. As it's 27-14. here in a frenetic game at the Eastside Center.
Great word.
Here's Bittner's kick. A left-footed kicker boots it through, and it's 28-14 Redbirds. Dalton, again, one thing, as we talk about their kicker, Bittner, new kicker, I asked Coach Nick Dolinsky about a player kind of further down on Metamora's roster, number 92. His name is Tiago Garcia. He's a junior and a kicker. That's the only position he's listed as, just solely a kicker. And I asked him, just about him, and he said that Tiago Garcia on the Redbirds, he's a foreign exchange student for the team, and his dad was also a foreign exchange student at Metamora a few decades ago, played football for head coach Pat Ryan, and still had his helmet. And again, Tiago saw that helmet, and he said that he wanted to wear that someday. So again, we haven't seen much of him this season. He did kick a PAT against Canton, but depending on how this one plays out, maybe we will see the junior kicker from overseas.
I mean, what a story. How cool is that? Your father, goes overseas to little Metamora nonetheless, and you decide to follow suit, and I'm sure whoever in the Garcia family wants to come over to the Redbird country, they will welcome them with open arms. I mean, that's one of the more unique, more neat storylines I've heard of all season long.
And again, obviously we talk a lot about the star players, your Cranfords, your Petries, your Oakmans, your Hinderts of the world, but there are stories and really cool backstories from players everywhere, all around the area. So really glad that Nick Dolinsky was able to share that as well.
They all work hard. They all deserve the coverage, partner. I'm glad that we bring it to them.
Nelly, it's been a fun one so far tonight. Kickoff from the 45 after that 15-yard penalty. That was actually on East Peoria, pardon my earlier mistake. But Dalton, facing East Peoria, Dalton Oakman is going to have some fond memories of facing Metamora. 2 years ago, he came off the bench in his debut. East Peoria was down big, and he almost led them to a comeback win in a wild 62-46 game.
If you want a good laugh, go take a look at that box score for that game. I mean, Oakman came in and decided that his varsity debut, he was just going to be prime Tom Brady. And he comes in, hits receiver after receiver, and that game's at least got to be on the back of his mind and on the back of Metamora's mind here tonight.
So 1st and 10 from the 20, and Oakman, I asked him about it earlier this week, and you'll hear from him at halftime, actually. He kind of smiled and shook his head. As Jackson breaks it free, R.J. Jackson, another big play. Does he have the gas in the tank? Being pursued, Jackson pushed out. What's the call? Touchdown Raiders! R.J. Jackson, 80 yards to the house. Big play on top of big play, and East Peoria has another answer.
I mean, every time I think that we're going to settle in, John, and we're going to have, a normal drive, play some, regular football that we watch week by week, these players are like, nope, none of that. Hindert, huge touchdown. Jackson, huge touchdown. Cranford, a couple. Pickles. I mean, everybody is getting in on the action. This is, is taking the shape of one of the games of the year potential. If both these teams can keep this up, East Peoria right now probably just happy that they're hanging around with the Redbirds and their offense firing on all cylinders. You gotta love that if you're a Raider faithful.
And they are hanging around and showing that, hey, we can go punch for punch. Now they just got to find a stop, but you talked about it, Dalton. Again, there have been a lot of really great shootouts all around the area this year. There's just about one or two just about every week. Last week, Olympia upset number 1 in Class 2A, Maroa Forsyth, as that kick was no good, partially blocked. It'll stay an 8-point game. At 50-36, Olympia taking on the top team in Class 2A. There was Normal Community and Bloomington back and forth, 56-42 battle. Metamora played Morton. It was 43-40, back and forth game back in week 4.
Seems like I was going to have one last week, at the aforementioned SJO and BCC. That was a 31-28 game at halftime. I can assure you everybody in that stadium thought it was just a coin flip at halftime. Both teams were playing really well. But whatever halftime adjustments Coach Brott made for his Saints at the halftime locker room worked like a charm. They ended up winning that game 67-28. So a big win for them as well. But yeah, quite a lot of trick plays as we talked about earlier, but also a lot of shootouts, a lot of scoring, a lot of entertaining football this year, and I am not complaining. What a year it's been.
It really has. And again, well, last week I saw an explosive offense, but it was pretty one-sided. It was a 40-0 game, and the week before was East Peoria against Washington, and the Raiders got shut out. That is most definitely not the case here tonight.
Metamora Dunlap next week.
Yeah.
That's got Game of the Year potential. That's got shootout potential. Who knows?
That certainly does. Again, stay tuned to our social media channels, or we'll be announcing where we're going to go early in the week. We got some great games all around the area, so stay tuned. And Clutch Sports Media on Facebook and Instagram, Clutch Sports IL. Follow us on Twitter. Stay updated with all of the latest things going on, all the stories we publish on CSM Overtime. Got some of those every single day. And also, a lot of cool graphics, weekly standings. I know a lot of people love checking in on the standings around the area, football, volleyball, soccer. Lots of other things going on there. As here's the return and a little bit of a gingerly stepping. And another big return. Metamora's down the sideline. Are you kidding? Touchdown Redbirds. That is Braden Cox, the sophomore wide receiver, going right back down the field.
Braden Cox might have just earned himself some more playing time. My goodness, did he turn on the Jets. Getting that football. He followed his blockers as well to absolute perfection. And I just think it's going to be a shootout, John. I mean, let it commence. This is clearly does not have the likes of a normal football game, but my goodness, I'm already running out of words to describe what we're seeing here, and there's 9 minutes left in the second quarter.
This might be first one to 70 tonight. Holy smokes, what a game in East Peoria. There's a player down on the field that they're tending to right now. While we have a quick chance, let's just kind of recap the scoring for you. It's been going so fast. So it started with Metamora got the ball. Jadon Cranford had a 15-yard touchdown run. 2-point conversion was good, made it 8-zip. Then East Peoria fumbled. 2 plays later, Cranford is in again on that wonderful 30-yard touchdown, which he broke tackles, showed off the speed, made it 14-zip Redbirds. Then quickly afterwards, Aiden Hinder, 46-yard touchdown pass, 14-7. And Jason Pickles, 60-yard touchdown pass for Metamora. Aiden Hinder, a 40-yard catch right before the end of the second quarter. This game was 21-14 just 3 minutes ago. Then Cranford had the touchdown run. R.J. Jackson had that long touchdown, 80 yards, and then that 80 or so yard return from Braden Cox. We have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players already score touchdowns. What do you say? Maybe it might get up to 10 tonight.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain about that at all. What a game it's been. If you're not strapped in, you need to strap in because we've got a wild, rest of 9 minutes in this first half, and don't even want to think about what the second half could bring in terms of entertainment value. Just punch, counter punch, 2 teams that would absolutely love a W, as you said at the top of the broadcast, but both of them leaving it all out there tonight, making for what's been a phenomenal game thus far.
Certainly, and again, as they continue to tend to the injured player, we're going to step aside here on CIProud.com. WMBD Game of the Week, not disappointing so far. Right back after this.
Wright's Furniture in beautiful downtown Pontiac provides the highest quality furniture for your home. Kick back and watch the game in one of our cozy recliners, or experience a wonderful night's sleep in one of our luxurious mattresses. Visit Wright's Furniture for comfort and quality.
Champions aren't just made on the scoreboard. They're built through teamwork, leadership, and setting an example that makes us all proud. Turks Collision Center is proud to celebrate the student athletes of Central Illinois. Because
I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates. Get a deeper look at the why of weather with Shooting the Breeze. Every week, your local weather authority team will break down the science behind the storms. It's a breezy conversation.
Willow Lane Yoga and Wellness is now open at 7800 North Summer, featuring yoga, mat Pilates, reformer Pilates, and our exclusive to the area Fuse ladders. Find out why we're different at willowlaneyoga.com.
And welcome back here to East Peoria again. There's a downed, I believe, a Raider, not exactly sure on the play. They are still checking him out. They're on the field. Did not see that on that kick return touchdown by Braden Cox. But Dalton, again, talking about the two teams going in opposite directions, at least before this one. Metamora, they're going on the elevator up. They had won 4 straight, almost 48 points per game in that span. East Peoria, it's been a rough last 3 for them, but the offensive side at least coming back to life tonight.
Indeed, and it's exactly what they needed. You had to come out with some poise. You had to come out with some passion, and I don't think the passion's ever been questioned for Coach Durley's Raiders squad, even though the last couple of weeks haven't gone their way. It's just kind of the makeup of their schedule. This is nothing new. They play the weaker opponents early on and start facing the top opponents later on. It has its pros and cons, but Raiders team certainly hanging with the Redbirds tonight, and they are without a doubt one of the top teams in the conference. So impressive stuff thus far, regardless of what's been happening these last couple of weeks.
Injured player for East Peoria is Perry Beanie, junior wide receiver and defensive back, and he's getting some assistance to the sideline. So, again, you just hate to see, obviously, injuries, but, again, the harsh reality is that a lot of players are already banged up by week 8 of the season, and, again, you just hate to see that. Hopefully East Peoria, again, with a little bit of a smaller roster than Metamora's, can stay as healthy as possible, as the point after is good from Bittner.
And it's always important to try and be as healthy as possible, especially when you're approaching the playoffs and you have some of your biggest games of the year right around the corner. You want to be as healthy as possible, but the reality of it is, as you said, partner, you don't have control over that all the time. Football is a physical game. Injuries do happen, but everybody wants to be healthy all the time. Can't blame the coaches, can't blame the players. It's something they got to deal with.
And speaking of coming back from injuries, though, Jadon Cranford, didn't get super banged up, but again, did miss 2 games and didn't really play all that much. But again, how about, what he has shown tonight, and also a guy we haven't called yet, Mark Eichelman, what he did last week for Metamora, very strong, over 200 yards. Yeah,
Eichelman, I think, is going to start to get more and more handoffs here. You don't want Cranford going down with another injury, although Cranford's looked great so far to the tune of 3 touchdowns. I think it looks healthy to me, but I would expect Eichelman to get a couple handoffs here as we approach the end of the first half, or at least at some point in the second half. Metamora's got depth in the run game. They always have.
They certainly do, and again, it helps when you have a quarterback like Petrie, who is essentially can be another running back himself. Very mobile quarterback. So now we are ready for Raiders to return this kick, and who knows what we might see on this one. It's a line drive, angling towards the sidelines, and Eddie Fincham is going to let that go out of bounds. So 3rd kick out of bounds we've seen tonight, Dalton.
I wonder if there's some strategy to that. They just don't want to let if they don't want to let Fincham or whoever return a kick after what we've seen here tonight, that wouldn't be the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, that was a good thought. Didn't think about that. And some long returns from both sides. And the wind is a little bit present tonight. There were some gusts up to about 20 miles an hour. You see there's an American flag on top of the press box, or actually behind it, across the way. That's behind the baseball fields over here at the East Side Center. But we can see all 50 stars on that flag right now, if that gives you any indication of the wind at the moment. Raiders take over at the 35. Oakman out of the shotgun. And Mason Watson, you see him lined up there behind the offensive line. Jackson trying to find something. Ran into a wall and still got about 2.
Jackson, again, looked like that play was dead, but Jackson's not one to give up. He's going to try to have that edge for an extra yard each and every time he gets the football. He did so there.
Saul Swanson there on the tackle for Metamora. He came in tonight with 24 on the season. Also 4.5 tackles for loss. This Metamora defense had to replace a lot of starters. Their entire linebacking core, most of their defensive line outside of Sam Barbarinas, and several key faces in their secondary too, which last year they called the Legion of Zoom, because they were all so fast. So here's a 2nd and 7. Play action. Oakman out to Hinder again. Oakman got lit up there, and Hinder is going to get tackled hard too after pretty much no gain.
That was a tough take there from Oakman. It was a nice job getting rid of that football. If he held on to it for a split second more, he got absolutely smoked. And may not have held onto that football, but Raiders will take it.
So another big third down here for the Raiders. 2 receivers coming in. That's Logan Kirby, who had 2 touchdowns last week, and Eddie Fincham as well. 3rd and 9. East Peoria has scored a touchdown on 4th down, and they've scored one on 3rd down tonight as well. We talked about Metamora getting off the field on those 3rd downs are keys to the game, so we'll see if they can do that here.
Would absolutely love to. You want the ball back. You want the chance to put more points up on the board before you head to the halftime locker room.
Here's Oakman under duress, looking to throw. Got an open man. Is Aiden Hinder again. Breaking a tackle and across the 40. Mr. Reliable. Oakman to Hinder for another 1st down.
That connection is just electric. It's been there all night long. Whenever Oakman has any time in the pocket, his first option is always going to be Hinder. More often than not, he's hitting him, and those two are really making something out of nothing when these plays look broken.
And Oakman he's not much of a running quarterback. This has 9 rushes for 16 yards on the season. I would have been surprised if he tucked it and ran there, but Hinder made a nice move to free himself up. Inside of 7 minutes. Hand off to Jackson. He's going to the right side, and he's appended. Hit low by Neal.
Neal again a couple times now. He's come off that edge. I think he's timing the snap really well. Has his eyes glued to Jackson. Is not fooled by anything. And drops him in the backfield for another TFL. Neal's second of the game.
Came into tonight with 2.5 of those. Metamora's linebackers have played well against Swanson and Neal on this drive. It's been one of the, believe it or not, the longer possessions we've seen in quite some time. A team holding the ball for over 3 minutes. I mean, what is this, the 1920s?
That's exactly what I'm starting to think. I think Coach Durley just wants to get his defense some rest, but a lot of those guys out there on offense play defense as well.
Fair point. 2nd and 15 after a big loss. Oakman, play action again, looking for a man, got a Kirby. Sure-handed, brought it in right near the 1st down marker.
First time calling Kirby's name, his 7th reception of the year, the 6'2 senior. A nice second option for Oakman. Nice job getting open in the middle of the field there. When you can catch a strong pass in the middle, opens up a lot of options for you to go.
Raiders going no huddle now. Jackson with the handoff, falls forward down to the 20s, so East Peoria kind of going a little mix of fast and slow, keeping Metamora off balance. I like that.
Keeping them on their toes. It's just only going to make life harder for the opposition's defense, and looks like they're going right back to the slow game now as they take their time in the huddle and look to the sideline for instruction.
And keep an eye on number 6 in maroon, Aiden Hinder. Lots of big plays already. 2 touchdowns, 1 of 46 and 1 of 40 yards tonight. Raiders in the red zone. Hinder in the lower slot with Logan Miller below him. No deep safeties for the Redbirds. Hand off to Jackson. He gets rung around almost by the neck. Another tackle for loss.
I think you got to go back to the air here if you're East Peoria. There's a couple of runs with Jackson. He just doesn't quite have enough space to go where he wants to go. I think it's more to the credit of the Redbird defense coming off the edge and containing Jackson so well.
Almost every time Jackson gets the ball, by the time it's in his chest, there's a lot of white jerseys surrounding him already. The Raiders slowing it down here again. They're looking to get into the playoffs with a win tonight for the first time since 2012. Many winless, 1-win, 2-win seasons in between. They're hanging around tonight as Jackson gets brought down. Not much doing there. Looks like Caleb Morrison and Sam Barbarinas were in there on that tackle.
Defensive line of Metamora is really starting to get stronger and stronger as we progress throughout the game. Now under 4 and a 3rd and long. I mean, you almost certainly have to go to the area here if you're East Peoria. And I got my eyes, shocker, got my eyes on Aiden Hinder on this play.
And it's a 3rd and 16. Raiders have converted a lot on these, but this has been the longest that they've faced so far. And Hinder again in the slot. Oakman looking his direction. Also got Miller. He is going down. Pocket collapse there on Oakman. And it looked like Caden Pontoni and Sam Barbarinas combined to bring him down.
Yeah, Oakman looked left at Hinder, just wasn't quite open. Good defense by the Redbirds. And he ran out of time. He didn't have much of it. Now with 3 minutes to go, I think East Peoria is going to run this clock down. And are they going to go for it?
I think you have to. I mean, they're not going to kick it from here. It'd be about a 44, 45-yarder. Chip shot by, not a chip shot, but makeable by NFL standards. Maybe not quite as much by high school standards. You're probably too close to punt unless you really want to play the field position game and really try and pin Metamora. And the Raiders will take a timeout here. And Dalton, again, as we look at this, East Peoria team here that last week, again, really showed out well, even though it was a loss. They really got back on track very well in that one. You look at their yardage last week compared to where they were the last 2 weeks.
Goodness, I mean, just playing different opponents each week. The Mid-Atlantic is a tough conference, but I mean, that's figuring it out. That's putting in the work at practice. Coach Durley has his guys motivated, has all the parts where they need to be, and really lighting up the score sheet as they're doing tonight and they did last week. And regardless of what happens here tonight, you have to be ecstatic with what your offense has shown you as of late for Coach Durley.
And even if they go into halftime in the current state, 35-20, it's still a two-score game. Obviously, you like to get one here. They got to get down to the Metamora 11. They might be just going for it all here.
Even if you can get a pickup of 5 or 6 yards here, it's kind of serve as a punt.
Almost, as Oakman has good protection this time. Looking deep, looking for Fincham. There is some contact, no flags. I think that was the right call, a tough one to make, but that was good defense. It looked like by Brady Karch, sophomore DB.
Yeah, Karch, that's just sticking with their man, keeping the hands off. There was a decent amount of contact. The Raider faithful wanted a defensive pass interference, which would have flipped this drive on its head, but I think just better defense. I think that was the right no call. And the Redbirds take over possession with 2 minutes and 41 seconds to go. And the way this game has gone, that's enough time for about 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, we've had multiple times tonight 2 touchdowns scored in a minute. We had 3 touchdowns scored in the span of 46 seconds earlier in the second. If you didn't tune in earlier, you've missed a lot of fireworks early. Pass is dropped. Is that a fumble or not? I think that was a forward pass. So it will stand as incomplete as Petrie was trying to find Cranford.
I like sending Cranford out on those bubble screens because if he could just get decent blocking, you know he's going to do some serious damage. Just took the eye off the football there. Good thing for the Redbirds. Clock stops, so 2nd and 10. You still have 2:36 to try and force your way to the end zone.
And they have all 3 of their timeouts, too, as well. Raiders have 0 left. Again, stay tuned for our halftime show. We caught up with Metamora players and East Peoria players, too, during the week. Had a chance to interview with them. As a handoff goes by Cranford, he's got some speed on this one. Breaking another tackle. There he goes into the East Peoria night. Jadon Cranford, juked him with the speed, and he has got number 4. Unbelievable move for the future Northern Illinois Husky.
If you're a MAC fan, if you're a Northern Illinois Husky fan, you got to be jumping for joy in your living room right now. I mean, just a simple inside zone to the right side, following blockers, gaining yardage. He sees he has space to the outside and hits it immediately, and that was a disgusting move to juke Logan Kirby out of his cleats as he crosses the goal line for touchdown number 4.
Cranford's got over 100 yards just on his touchdown runs alone tonight. 15, 36, and 73 yards. And yeah, it looked like, he might have been running out of gas a bit, as Bittner's point after is good. But again, he slowed down. Kirby slowed down, and I think Kirby learned his lesson that, hey, when you slow it down, you got to still speed up, try and tackle him, because I think Cranford just put on those jets, and he was gone again.
Yeah, that was
into the end zone.
video game numbers for Cranford. That was a video game move. I mean, just pulling back,
Yeah.
pulling back on the right stick, juking out the defense. And that was a really good call, too, because I think he would have been pushed out before he got to the goal line by Kirby. But that's just IQ. That's having reps, having experience, and overall being super talented, the super talented player that Cranford is. And what do you know, 42-20 in the second quarter, just like we expected, right?
Exactly, right? But you talk about all the experienced players. You know, we've calling names of a lot of guys that have been around for some time. Obviously, Aiden Hindert, Dalton Oakman have been 3-4-year starters for East Peoria. Cranford really kind of came around the corner as a sophomore, but a lot of people knew his name as a freshman even. Got a little bit of action there on Metamora's team back in 2022. And Stephen Petrie has been a varsity contributor for 3 years, second year as starting quarterback. So you see where the experience gets you.
You need the seniors. You absolutely do see where experience gets you. When you get to the playoffs, you need guys who have been there before, guys who can calm the younger guys' nerves down. You need to rely on seniors in the good times and the bad.
Certainly do. As here's Fincham, it looks like on the return, trying to make a juke and gets wrestled down one-on-one. They're at the 25. There looked like that was Mark Eichelman making the tackle there again. Eichelman, as the feature back last week, had over 200 yards. But a lot of ball carriers from Metamora this year. Coming into the year, there was Jadon Cranford, number 1. Keon Allen was our number 2 back. He broke his hand 2 weeks ago. They also had Jaden Lambert, power back. Now it's Mark Eichelman, the number 2 option. They got some other guys, too, that can carry the rock.
Next man up mentality. When you're ready to go in there and follow the blockers, get that extra yard like all the Metamora running backs do. When you're ready to do that, Coach Dolinsky will find a way to get you some reps.
Here's R.J. Jackson going back to the line. Yeah, Jackson's been a patient runner tonight, but sometimes I think some of these plays have taken a little bit too long that the Raiders would like to materialize.
I would agree, a split second too long to develop, and I don't know if that's just ball carrier vision or blocking or a combination of both. It's not quite going the way they wanted to. Jackson's had himself a solid game, but the offense is, obviously looking at the score, you need to turn up the offense and claw your way back into this one. They have an opportunity to do so right here before halftime.
And Metamora perhaps playing a bit aggressive here, calling the timeout. That seems to convey that, hey, we think we can stop you, we can get the ball back. They could make it, heck, even a 49-20 game by halftime, and which that cannot happen if you're East Peoria. Yeah, you really need to score here, but if you go down by 4 scores and that pendulum swings on your side all the way back to the other side, that could be grounds for a tough third quarter and fourth quarter.
Devastating indeed, and this is kind of, may not end up mattering, but this is Coach Dolinsky and the Redbirds saying prove it. Prove that you can string together a couple first downs against us, or we're going to force turnover on downs. And the way that they're playing, they're probably going to get back into the end zone again. So Raiders got to step up. If you get 1 first down here, you're probably fine the rest of the half, but we shall see.
Both punters have had a quiet night so far. Haven't seen one yet. Oakman looking to throw, hit him in the hands, and it would have been a chance for more yardage, but it was dropped there by Keemon Lee, who is a little upset, and flags fly. You saw him, he threw the white towel, and the referee threw the yellow flag.
Yeah, Keemon Lee just letting the emotions get the better of him there. It happens over the course of a long game, long season. Not sure if he wanted a penalty or just frustrated with himself. But regardless, it's going to push the Raiders back into their own territory.
Lee frustrated there, really wanted that one. Again, he started off the year pretty hot, caught several touchdowns. Again, he's been a little bit quiet in the past few weeks, so maybe, again, trying to get that big play, and you're so close, just couldn't quite get there. And it's easy to kind of go down that rabbit hole sometimes. But again, East Peoria are still in this game, especially with this quick strike offense they got. It's a 3rd and 26 now after that penalty, though. So that is going to cost his offense.
Yeah, you're going to need a huge play. This is a play I'm definitely looking for, that Oakman-Hinter connection, which has done wonders for the Raider offense all half long. But 26 yards, that's a tall task.
So the Redbirds did get a stop on 3rd and 16. Now here's 3rd and About 25 or so. 25, 26. Country mile territory either way. Oakman is protected well. Going across the middle. It's a short pass. It's complete to Hindert. But not going to be a first down as Hindert looks a bit shaken up there after that one.
Yeah, kind of an awkward fall. It was a very nice tackle by Cranford to wrap up Hindert and make sure there was no funny business after the play. And now EP's got to send out the punt team. And Hindert went down in bounds, so Metamora, I believe, or it might have been East Peoria. Not sure who called the timeout. I think it might have been the Raiders.
Yeah,
but
yeah, no, it was Metamora. East Peoria's
yes,
was out.
Metamora calls the timeout in order to force a punt as Hindert's being aided to at about the 20-yard line.
And that's not what you want to see if you're the Raiders. Again, Lee's still getting talked to by the coaching staff. Hindert is down. So, again, you got to make sure that things don't unravel. They did do a good job of that earlier on. I gave major props to them. Going down 14-0 in the first 4 minutes. It could have rolled over, but they have responded. Now it's a matter of, again, you got to bring it for all 48 minutes. And it's still, again, a Raider team that, again, I think you can't say they're still learning how to win. They've won 4 games this season. But, again, they're still kind of learning what it takes to win these big Mid-Atlantic games and take that next step.
They're still kind of meshing together in that sense. They're going up against the gauntlet part of their schedule with an absolute ton on the line each and every one of these games. It's a lot of pressure on these young athletes. So, yeah, they're learning. Each and every week is a learning opportunity for everybody involved on both sides. So they're taking that in stride. It hasn't turned into wins these last couple of weeks, and they're certainly down in the rabbit hole right now, but plenty of time to respond. We'll have to punt it away here.
Hindert did get back up onto his feet, putting weight on both of his feet, so that is good news for EP. Raiders return men. Looks like Pickles and Bittner standing at the East Peoria 46 as they will receive this punt. I believe this appears this might be Oakman, I think, punting this one away. Can't quite see the number. Be wary of the fake. Oh, the ball is down. It's a fumble, and Oakman's going to get tackled. Is that a safety?
The ball came out.
Or a touchdown. If East Peoria has the ball, it's a safety. We're awaiting the official call. Have not seen a safety or a touchdown signal. Looks like they're converging at the 1. Wild play there.
Yes, it was. It looked like Oakman had the football, and by the time he looked up, he was being pushed into his own end zone, then lost the football. What is the call?
Waiting on any indication. Referees are going to talk things over.
Got to get this one right.
Yeah, this is big. I mean, if you're East Peoria, again, you maybe want the safety because that's only 2 points rather than 6, but you give East Peoria the ball back. If it's a touchdown, you don't like giving up the 6 points, but it does give your offense a chance with 1:48 left in the second quarter.
That's right. It's a lose-lose, and referees want to talk about it.
Our crew tonight going all around, making sure they get this one right. Again, it's been a pretty clean game for the most part in terms of flags go. It's been a well-called game to this point.
To the naked eye, it looked like a touchdown. It looked like Oakman lost the ball right on the R in Peoria, and it was recovered by Metamora. But was he down before he lost the ball? Was the ball actually recovered by a Raider? I believe it's going to be touchdown Metamora, but I'm not entirely sure.
We shall see. It's been, again, just a wacky game so far. Touchdowns all over the place, and it looks like this is Metamora's offense coming onto the field. And we're still waiting on an official call from our man in the white hat. Yes, I believe this is the Redbird offense on the field at about the 17-yard line. So not quite sure whatever happened
at the
there.
17-yard line. I don't understand why they get the ball there. Their score remained the same.
Yeah, no score, but Metamora might do so right here with Cranford. He's forced out at around the 10 there by Kirby. And again, obviously, short field, maybe Metamora might not be too upset. You get a chance to maybe run a little bit more clock and still score as well before the half.
They certainly should trust in their scoring abilities from this part. I mean, they haven't really set up an offense from this part of the field very often because, most of their touchdowns are coming from 50-plus yards out. But I think they believe in their ability to score from really anywhere on the turf right now, and I do too.
So, East P, if they go for 2, could put up 50 in this first half. East Peoria's defense desperately needing to stop. That was their Achilles heel last week. Jump ball in the end zone. Almost got his receiver in the back corner. He was looking for Braden Bittner.
Yeah, good play call. Bittner had his man beat. The ball just slightly overthrown.
So 3rd and 2 now from the 9. 1:37 to go.
Clock does stop again.
And Redbirds still got 2 timeouts. So 3rd and 2. Haven't seen Metamora in a ton of 3rd down opportunities on offense tonight. It's Pickles on the far side slot. And McMillan above him. Hand off to Cranford, trying to find space. Muscles his way down to the 6th, and I think he's got a first down, Dalton.
Indeed he does. Referee all over that. Wasn't a big gain, didn't need to be. A minute and a half now. It's 1st and goal for the Redbirds. You said, John, threatening to hit 50. They'd be halfway to the century mark if they could punch one in and get the 2-point conversion.
And I'm sure the Redbirds huddle telling Jadon Cranford that, hey, that's an example of it's good if you don't score every single play. Sometimes all you need is a nice 4 yards.
Not sure if he wants to hear that, but I mean,
yeah.
There is a lot of strategy. Football's one big chess match, so there's some strategy to when you want to give your opponent the ball and when you don't want to give your opponent the ball.
Inside of a minute now in a very long first half that's seen tons and tons of scoring. Cranford, 5 in the first half. He's in from 6 yards out. Running out of words to describe Jadon Cranford.
He's just tremendous, and that was phenomenal blocking by the offensive line, who's really gotten better and better as this game has gone along. Jeffrey Reyes, Evan Grove specifically on that left side, clearing a huge hole. East Peoria packed the defensive front tight, packed the box tight. It didn't matter. They were all cleared out, and Cranford able to dance in for as many touchdowns as he has fingers on his right hand.
Unbelievable. 5 touchdowns for Jadon Cranford. I am sure that is probably close, if not a personal record for him. PAT is good. It's 49-20. Yeah, big performances from Cranford don't really surprise me or you. I've seen him for a long time, but seeing him healthy and seeing him back again is a major big sign for Metamora, Dalton, who again, bringing potentially, if they can keep this going, beat Dunlap, you go to the playoffs 8-1, and potentially playing in Class 4A as well, too.
I mean, we're seriously, if that is to happen, John, which it very well could have, you're looking at one of the better teams in the history of Metamora Redbirds football. I mean, they've been to the state championship game 10 times in their history, only won it 3, but this would be one of the better ones if they can finish out the season strong, and I believe they will.
And just earlier today, we released our CSM bracketology full playoff field projections, all 8 classes. And this is our projections as of right now coming into tonight. Metamora projected as a number 6 seed in Class 4A. They would play at home against Malone Field. They take on Geneseo, another great tradition-rich program. East Peoria, they are projected to be out right now, but if they can win either tonight or beat Pekin next week, they projected to be about a 15 seed. Also, they'd play in Class 4A as well. Again, looking for their first berth since 2012.
Right, and you like your spot there. If you're Metamora, you would really enjoy hosting a playoff game. For East Peoria, find any way to get in.
As the mantra right now as this kick is returned from the 7. Oh, and a big hit laid there by the Metamora special teams. Looked like that might have been Neal. The brick wall that he ran into, kind of doing the turnaround jump shot celebration there.
Might as well get in on special teams, make a big play like that. You might as well celebrate. And on the topic of bracketology, I just want to repeat what you said. Every single class, every single game projected by our very own Jonathan Michael. Yes, he put in the work to
It's a
project
lot of fun.
I'm sure it was, but that had to be quite a bit of research. I commend you for that, partner. That was impressive stuff. I sat there and stared at it for probably a better part of half an hour. Like, my goodness. So good on you for that, partner. It's one of the more in-depth things that Clutch Sports Media does all year long. And, yeah, every class, every game projected.
Yeah, always a lot of fun to do. I was up very late. I won't even say how late I was up last night, finishing that up. Wanted to get them out before week 8. But, again, a lot of people out there like to project brackets, and not many people do it for all 8 classes. There's a few people that do, and, again, hats off to them as well. But, again, check that out again on CSM Overtime. Time running out here in the first half. Metamora scores 2 late touchdowns to get a big momentum swing. 49-20 they lead. Jadon Cranford with 5 first-half touchdowns and a phenomenal performance. We'll see what the second half brings. But again, stay tuned. Our halftime show coming up next, and caught up with players and coaches, as well as breaking down the first half, as well as looking at our other game we're broadcasting tonight. Right back after this on CIProud.com.
Peoria Production Solutions is a unique not-for-profit manufacturing company. For over 80 years, our mission is to be the premier employer of individuals with disabilities. We are committed to providing employment, training, and encouragement to people with all types of disabilities. With 300 employees at our 2 facilities, we continue expanding our capabilities and growing our team. We are Peoria Production Solutions. Higher performance, higher standards.
Trade up to a better future. Trade up to a job you enjoy. Trade up to trade school. At Midwest Technical Institute, you get the skills you need to start a career that moves you up in life towards your goals, your passions, and your dreams. Choose from programs including welding, HVAC, medical and dental assisting, medical coding, and more. Earn the experience, knowledge, and confidence to change your life. Trade school is just the beginning. Start your journey today at midwesttech.edu.
At Bob Grimm Chevrolet in Morton, we're out to sell $20 million of new Chevys in 2025, and we'll do whatever it takes to hit our goal. We'll save you thousands by discounting every new Chevy in stock and giving more for your trade. We'll check all the options to get you the best interest rate, plus every rebate possible to save you even more. When we sell a new Chevrolet, each of the 365 days this year, we stay on track. Will you be the next to make our day and be our one new Chevrolet? The math is simple. One new Chevrolet every day. That's the Bob Grimm way.
Willow Lane Yoga and Wellness is now open at 7800 North Summer, featuring yoga, mat Pilates, reformer Pilates, and our exclusive to the area Fuse ladders. Find out why we're different at willowlaneyoga.com.
We are Local Union 649. Our commitment to safety, our state-of-the-art training facility, and our pride in the work we do to build America is what makes us stand out from the rest. We are Local 649 of the International Union of Operating Engineers, and we are looking for the next generation of equipment operating apprentices. With Local 649, you'll find more than a career. You'll find a family, creating legacies since 1917.
Wright's Furniture in beautiful downtown Pontiac provides the highest quality furniture for your home. Kick back and watch the game in one of our cozy recliners, or experience a wonderful night's sleep in one of our luxurious mattresses. Visit Wright's Furniture for comfort and quality.
Happy birthday from Alexander Steakhouse. Come celebrate your birthday with us and you'll get a free dessert and up to a $20 credit on your meal. For details or reservations, call Alexander Steakhouse in Peoria or Normal.
At Alexander Steakhouse, we're more than steaks, we're entertainment. Pick one of our hand-cut steaks, cook over the open grill, or have us prepare it for you. Steaks, seafood, chicken, and Central Illinois' best salad bar. Alexander Steakhouse, where the best cook is you.
Well, you never know what you're going to see at a high school football game on Friday nights, and we saw 2 baby dolls and baby carriers right there on the field. Not quite sure what they were being used for. Maybe something in the halftime show. It's just been that kind of game here in East Peoria as the Redbirds lead at 49-20 here at halftime. Dalton, and this, again, we have been seeing a lot of the unexpected here tonight. We expected a shootout, but some things we saw did not quite. We expect all of it.
Right, and I think the baby dolls has to be maybe some kind of inside joke that we're just we're not too cool for yet or anything. But I mean, yeah, we've seen everything you could possibly imagine in this game. A lot of scoring, 69 points between these two squads, 49 of them for Metamora, just running the ball, passing the ball. It's all coming together for the Redbirds. And yes, we did expect a shootout because it's just the way high school football is sometimes. It's just the brand of football that both of these teams like to play. But to this degree, don't really think anybody could say they were expecting a 49-20 score at halftime.
Lots of fireworks on the field. Nowhere near 4th of July, but still some going on in East Peoria. We got a chance to catch up with East Peoria players earlier this week. Dalton Oakman and Aiden Hinder, the connection that is passed for multiple touchdowns already in his first half. We'll be right back after we hear from them.
The main focus is getting that 5th win, obviously, but we're still working as a team. We have a small roster, but we're making that. So main thing for us, condition, make sure everyone's in shape, and when we need guys to fill in, we need guys to fill in, but in all, just coming together as a team and getting the job done.
Yeah, I mean, last year went in, new playbook. I know new stuff, not new everything, but this year it's a lot different, knowing the whole playbook, knowing where reads are going, knowing what defenses to pick apart and audibles and stuff just like that.
I would say mostly our defense needs to stop the run on the outside, but other than that, we should have it done. Our quarterback, I'd say one of the best ones around. He definitely showed it when he was a sophomore, getting put in middle of the game, coming with 4 touchdowns, and I believe he can do the same with this year. Receiver core, very strong, and I feel like we can get the job done as long as our defense can follow up with it.
Yeah, I definitely remember going off. Just first throw wasn't actually a pick, but I remember going off just being confident and just ready to ball out, and it's going to be a lot different. And I think there was a lot of underthrows that game too, so it'll be a lot different, a lot more better looking.
Yeah, we kind of made it more intense just because we don't. Last year we settled at 4 wins, but this year we need to make that change. We want to become a playoff team like we were back at 2012, and we want to set our names in the high school again. We just want to change the community.
And you heard there from Aiden Hinder. He says that he just want to do something for the community. Getting that playoffs and getting that 5th win would be a historic moment for the Raiders, but they face a 49-20 deficit here as we break down the first half. Again, Jonathan Michael, Dalton Carmine here in the booth with you of Clutch Sports Media in Dalton. I mean, where to start? I mean, 49-20 game. Multiple instances of 2, at one time even 3 touchdowns scored in the span of 1 minute earlier in that second quarter. Big plays all over the place.
Right, and you come in for these Coach Zielinski and Coach Durley, you come in hoping that you're going to make some big plays. You know, naturally the way you play offense, it happens a lot of the time. It's never something you can bank on, though. So when it happens to this level, to this degree, I'm curious to see what halftime adjustments both these coaches are going to make, both offensively and defensively. But, yeah, flip a coin, roll a dice, whatever you want to do to try to find your favorite play of this game thus far. But, my goodness, it has been a showdown.
I think my favorite has been that 30-yard run from Cranford, touchdown number 2 of the night. The one where he shook off some tackles, showed off the speed, stayed in bounds, was tight rope in the sideline, and got in to make it 14-0 back with 8 minutes to go.
Solid choice. I'm also going to go with Cranford for my favorite play. You know, he's got 5 touchdowns, so it's not like I'm short of options here. But I think that 73-yard run near the tail end of that second quarter where he just beats everybody. It was, like I said, it was just a simple inside zone. It was something that transpired into something I never thought it would be, and he takes it all the way to the house and puts the defender on skates right before he hops into the end zone. He's so far been the player of the game, without a doubt. 5 touchdowns in the first half alone for the NIU-bound Metamora Redbird.
Well, this is quite the complex here at the Eastside Center. There's baseball fields, softball fields, soccer fields, a gym behind us, basketball, volleyball courts there, football field track here as well. I don't know if there is a skating rink anywhere around, but there have been a lot of guys on both teams that have been put on skates tonight. A lot of juke moves and a lot of moves to find the open field and run down for some big touchdowns. And again, one of my favorite plays, too, if I had to get honorable mention, that 4th down touchdown from East Peoria on 4th and 6. Sam Durley calls timeout, finds Hinder for the 46-yard pass across the middle. That was a big one. And I think we kind of breathed a sigh of relief knowing that, hey, East Peoria is going to put up a fight in this one.
Yeah, they certainly are putting up a fight. They just need to have that offense turn into some defense. That was a really solid call there by Coach Durley on that 4th down to not only pick up the first down, but get into the end zone. And where would they be if he hadn't called that 4th down, if he took kind of the more conservative way out and didn't get points that drive, the score would look a lot uglier. So there's certainly things that you can hang your hat on if you're East Peoria. Your offense has been playing very solidly against a good defense, but now you need your defense to start playing tougher and start containing the Metamora Redbirds. Slowly but surely need to crawl your way back into this one.
Yeah, and you look again at East Peoria's last few games. Again, the offense has been there this season. Their wins, they've scored 47, 49, 35, 36 points. Their defense played solid in those games too, but their last 3, they've given up 48, 56, and 66 points. Could potentially be more tonight. So they're on the wrong end of a troubling trend. They need to, again, find that defensive spark. But, again, it's hard to do that when you're facing one of the best offenses around and Jadon Cranford and company. And, again, Dalton, again, as we are going to take a kind of a quick break here in a second and come back, talk about other games going on around the area. But, I mean, week 8 of the season, again, lots of great things happening, especially the playoff chase is really on.
It absolutely is. This is the time of the year where every coach around the entire state of Illinois, every player knows that they have to lock in, start playing their best football. You know, the kinks have got to be ironed out. You got to start limiting those small mistakes. And it just makes for an incredibly entertaining, incredibly fun last couple weeks of the season, which is exactly what we have right here tonight. And next week, and overall high school football in Central Illinois, I mean, where else would you rather be? Because I try not to get too far ahead of myself, just like a good player does. You want to focus on the game, what's in front of you tonight, but I am just unbelievably stoked for the playoffs.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be right back after this. We caught up with Metamora's players, Sam Barbarinas, and their Macomb transfer, Kylan McMillan, earlier this week. Get a chance to hear from them. We'll be right back after the break on CIProud.com.
It feels great, honestly. Great team spirit around here. Everybody's got chemistry. We're clicking all cylinders. Probably one of the best football teams I've been a part of. Been playing for a while, so it's just really exciting having a team like this and having this winning streak that we have been.
I love it here. Everything, like the coaching staff, the players, the team, they've all welcomed me so quickly and everything. And it feels like everything clicked. Like I was in my new home and I've lived here forever. They play harder football for sure. A lot more scoring, it seems like. A lot more just playmakers and stuff you got to look out for. Every week it seems like they got at least one player that can really, flip a game for any team, and you got to just watch out for them every week.
I just think with the skill we have on this team, it's just unlike we've ever had. I mean, having to play with Jadon, obviously Kylan too. I mean, it's just awesome having them play with them, and they're scoring all these points, and it's great.
I feel like the first time I met Steven, before we even had practice or anything, I came out here through with him, and it felt like I've known him since I was little. I mean, we connected. I've not always had great connection on deep balls with quarterbacks, but he seemed to click and hit me pretty well in stride.
Defensively, I feel like we've done great on pass coverage. I think we've been slowing down teams on the run too. It's just great all around. I mean, haven't been able to get a shutout this season yet, but we hope to do that. It's kind of surreal, honestly. These are my last couple of games as a football player, but I'm just trying to enjoy it, and most importantly, I'm trying to win. That's all I can think about. It's just winning, going far in the playoffs, because I'm just tired of losing second round, and I just want to go far and make the best of my last season.
Central Illinois, we're going to overtime. After 4 years of preps coverage in Central Illinois, Eclipse Sports Media is ready for a new era. CSM Overtime.
What is CSM Overtime? We're going beyond the broadcast to give you in-depth coverage of your teams.
Your stories.
Your stats and standings. Your highlights and action shots.
With your subscription, you'll get to see news and feature stories from all sports, up-to-date stats from around the area, and thoughtful analysis from our team of experts. As for our broadcast and social media coverage, it's only getting better.
With your support of Clutch Sports Media Overtime, we'll continue to grow our free broadcast coverage with more sports, more games, and more innovation.
And thanks to our partnership with Too Efficient Media, your social media feeds will be filled with Central Illinois' best sights and sounds. CSM Overtime will also give you access to full galleries from some of the most talented photographers and videographers in our region.
As the new season approaches, it's time for more.
More action, more stories,
more coverage of all Central Illinois sports. It's Clutch Sports Media Overtime.
Welcome back to the East Side Center. Dalton Carmine, Jonathan Michael here in the booth with you as the Redbirds lead at 49-20. Dalton, we talked about earlier. We got another great game going on tonight, our Clutch Sports Media Game of the Week, which you can watch on ClutchSportsIL.com and our YouTube channel, Peoria High and Bloomington, as we'll get a live look in here. We'll pull it up. Again, pull it up here. Just give it a quick second. Or not. I guess technology not wanting to work today, but Peoria High leading at 34-14. Again, we're not able to show that one to you, but again, you can watch it as well on ClutchSportsIL.com. Again, sometimes it happens, live looking, kind of a new thing we're trying out as well. But yeah, that's a great game between two 5-2 teams in the Big 12.
Yeah, two teams that I think are going to make a lot of noise in November. I've had the pleasure of broadcasting both of them to this point in the 2025 IHSA season. In Peoria High, that offense is just always so much fun to watch because they really blend the pass and the run game really well together. Offensive line's big and strong, led by Jaquarius Green. You got Breon Green, QB1, really at the helm of that program, does a phenomenal job. They never punt. They always go for two. They always onside kick. It makes for an entertaining brand of football, much like the one we have right here in front of our eyes tonight.
Most definitely. And seeing that offense, Peoria High just scored it. It's 40-14 now. Lions lead it over Bloomington as they look to get to 6-2 on the season. Bloomington trying to avoid their third straight loss. Looking around the area in Central Illinois, some scores. We already have some final scores tonight. Tri-Valley a 50-0 win over Shelbyville. And that's a Tri-Valley team that almost got beat by Tremont last week. Big statement. Also in the heart of Central Illinois, Hayworth beating Tuscola right now 30-14 in small school action.
Yeah, and that Tri-Valley game, that's a Tri-Valley team that's been really good for very long. There were a lot of question marks for that team coming into this season, but they have answered the bell in a huge way. Of course, almost losing last week. You want a statement victory. That's Shelbyville's perennial powerhouse in that class, coming out and beating that team. It was 52-6 rather. Huge statement victory. And yeah, Tuscola, Hayworth, small school action. I always sucker for the small schools. Hayworth is a team that's really kind of come out and surprised a lot of people that have a lot of pieces, knew they were going to be good, perhaps not this good. Tuscola, one of the top teams in Class 1A, I believe. And Hayworth coming out, putting their foot down, making a statement.
They certainly are. Again, Hayworth looking for a bounce back after a loss to Leroy last week. Other scores, again, going through the Mid-Illini first. Pekin up 28-0 over Limestone. Dragons, they're at 3-4. Backs against the wall. They need to win tonight and next week to make the playoffs. And if these results hold, Dalton, if East Peoria does not come back and Pekin wins, it's a battle of 4-4 teams between Pekin and East Peoria next week. Winner makes it to the playoffs. Washington leads it over Canton 41-2, and Morton leads Dunlap 8-7 right now in a defensive battle.
You want a statement win? How about beating Dunlap, a state-ranked team? Morton, they got a lot of work to do. It's a low-scoring affair there in that second quarter, but the Potters, offense absolutely lit up East Peoria last week, and trying to do the same thing here to Dunlap, albeit Dunlap has a very strong, stout defense. But, yeah, a lot of blowout scores is just something that you're going to see each and every week from across the state. But lots of fun storylines. And, yeah, a Pekin-East Peoria matchup next week with the playoffs on the line. That would feed families, as the kids say.
Yeah, it certainly would. How about this, Dalton? I know you're from the Champaign area. There's a school around there that obviously has not won a game in a long, long time. It's the Urbana Tigers. They lead the Manual Rams 28-14 right now in the second half. This is coming after their game against Richwoods was called off last weekend due to a brief skirmish on the field. They received a forfeit loss. They're now winning against the Rams. That would send shockwaves through the state if Urbana is able to pull off a win.
It absolutely would. I don't remember the last time the Tigers were able to pull out a W. I sincerely don't know off the top of my head, but what a moment that would be for that school, for the Tigers of Urbana. Manual, of course, team near the bottom of the Big 12. They would love a win as well.
Some other scores real quick for you. Eureka leads Tremont 10-7. Princeville up big on Stark County 48-7. Normal Community in the Big 12 leads Champaign Centennial 36-6. El Paso Gridley blowing out Clinton 56-0. Olympia, after beating top-ranked Forsyth, lead Pleasant Plains 42-0. Bloomington Central Catholic 48-14 over Pontiac at the moment. GCMS 34-6 over Fieldcrest right now. Tolono Unity leads IVC 41-17. Normal West over Champaign Central 34-7. We're going to step aside one more time here at halftime. Come back, second half coming up next on CIProud.com.
Family banking from a name you trust, Hometown Community Banks. For over 6 decades, we've been here right where you needed us. High-quality banking services delivered by caring professionals, people just like you who live and love Central Illinois. It's a history we're proud of and one we'll continue to offer to every person who walks through our doors. When you bank in your hometown, your money stays in your hometown. Hometown Community Banks, divisions of Morton Community Bank. Look for the clock tower and you'll know we have time for you.
Champions aren't just made on the scoreboard. They're built through teamwork, leadership, and setting an example that makes us all proud. Turks Collision Center is proud to celebrate the student athletes of Central Illinois because their victories reach far beyond the game.
Passionate, focused, strong. Qualities that you look for in a great athlete, and also a great lawyer. At Strong Law Offices, injury law is at the heart of what we do. Our team is on your side. When the game is on the line, let us tackle your claim.
WMBD's Morning Brunch.
It's not the news. We're not even pretending it's the news.
The gang's all here, and we're streaming our way right into your morning routine.
We're serving up hot takes, strong coffee, and zero filters.
Streaming free weekdays on the all-new WMBD Plus app.
Here's a look from across the way, the baseball press box. We're in the football press box, expansive complex here at the East Side Center in East Peoria. First time, to our knowledge, that at least our current Clutch Sports media crew has ever been here broadcasting a football game, Dalton, and we're having a great time. It's a great place to watch a game, great sight lines, great stands, great atmosphere overall.
It really is. I mean, this place is spacious. There's lots of places for fans to kind of stand, hang out. Got some picnic tables, really good concession stand, by the way. And
didn't get a chance to go down there before the game. How was it?
Really great stuff. A couple all-beef hot dogs. I'm never going to complain about an all-beef hot dog. But, yeah, and I mean, the fans, that's what makes the entire atmosphere. I really can't say enough about the contingent of the Raider faithful that have showed up to support their seniors on senior night. I'm sure they may not be the happiest with their performance to this point. And also Metamora. I mean, there's a nice decent amount of red and white across the field from us, but overall, I mean, just beautiful sights, beautiful sounds under the Friday night lights here.
And it's been a lot of beautiful sights if you're an offensive coordinator. It has been a night of nightmares if you're a defensive coordinator, 49-20 as we get started in this second half. And, Dalton, again, East Peoria can put up points, but, again, the more Metamora goes out in front, they need to use a basketball term. They need to keep the Redbirds on a number and make up some ground.
That's right, and they need to do it, and they need to do it incredibly fast. I mean, they have to come out, they got to score, and they got to hold the opposition as well, because if your offense comes out and you've made some adjustments and you're scoring, but your defense can't hold Metamora at 49, then it's not really going to matter. It has to start on the defense first, and I would assume those halftime conversations probably started by talking about the defensive side of the ball.
I'm sure that they did. Again, Aiden Hindert, been got to watch for East Peoria's, got 2 touchdowns of 46 and 40 yards. Metamora, they have scored on a kick return, a 73-yard run, short runs, short passes, long passes, you name it, as they try and move to 7-1 on the season, which, again, in the Mid-Illini, it's been a very competitive conference, and if they can go 7-2, 8-1, either one is pretty impressive given, again, I think the league in general has taken a slight step up from last year, I feel.
It has. I mean, for the last multiple years, it's just been Washington's conference to lose, and this year You could say the same thing, but there's been a little bit more parity when we're talking about the middle of the pack. Your Metamora, Morton, and Dunlap, all these teams have certainly taken a step up. Makes for a much more entertaining conference, and on a week-to-week basis, people who cover these things and pay very close attention to these things, that's exactly what we're looking for. There's so many good athletes up and down all these rosters in the Mid-Illini Conference.
You saw the baby dolls. I think, deciphered what they were for during halftime. A lot of schools do a unit where they have kids pretend to take care of a baby to kind of learn parenting skills for down the road in a few years. And so I think some Raider students are getting some real-life practice tonight, taking their not-so-real kids to the football game as this kick is returned from the 5-yard line. And it's going to be a short return. Great coverage by the Redbirds. Colton Catton had that return for EP.
Yeah, that's a really clutch tackle there inside the 15. East Peoria is going to have to go 80-plus yards now. We've seen our fair share of really impressive returns in the first half. Metamora making sure that was not one of them.
So it'll be a long field ahead for Oakman and company. And keep an eye, too, if Aiden Hinder is back up on the field. He got shaken up that last play of the first half. As Oakman lines up 3 wide receivers here. Hinder on the sidelines currently alongside with Keemon Lee. So here's a handoff. It's R.J. Jackson sidestepping. Got about 1 or 2, and it's been tough sledding for him tonight, Dalton.
It has, and I don't really think it's any fault of his. I more just credit the Metamora defense. But if Hinder, doesn't come off those sidelines, if he's out for the rest of the game, then you're probably going to rely on Jackson a lot more, and I think that plays into the hand of Metamora.
And Metamora's D-line of Sam Barbarinas, A.J. Yeager, Caden Pantoni have certainly come to play tonight, and the linebackers have been ready with the reinforcements. Whistle blows. No flag on the field, it appears.
Looks like East Peoria's taking somebody off the field.
Yeah, they're taking, that's Logan Miller off the field as Catton comes on,
Yeah, the sophomore getting, I believe, his first action here in the game.
So it's the 2nd and 10. Oakman going to the air. He's got Eddie Fincham and stays up on his feet. Fincham still going across the 20, gets twirled around for a nice pickup of about 15.
We have seen some elusiveness and some strength from the ball carriers all throughout this game, John. I am blown away by these athletes' abilities to stay on their feet after 2, 3, 4 guys are flying at them from the opposition.
So ball's still moving down the field for EP on that 2nd and long. It was key for them to pick up something. I thought Fincham was going to go down. His knee came awfully close to the turf, but kept it up. And motion there for the Raiders as that one's passed to the outside. Going to be a short gain. Therefore, 10 Logan Kirby. With Hinder and Lee on the bench, it's going to be, for the moment, up to Eddie Fincham, Logan Kirby, maybe even Logan Miller, Trevin Seeley for the Raiders to kind of shoulder the load out wide. But again, it is a deep wide receiver room that works in their favor.
Indeed it is. You got plenty of weapons Oakman to throw to. Is he going to have the time to throw it? And are they going to be able to pick up some yards after the catch, if you will?
Oh, a pickup of 3 there officially. Oakman out of the shotgun. And he'll hand off to Jackson. Oakman's going to keep this one. Faked out the defense. Got past a man. Ducked down. Tried to let his defender go over him. That was, I think, Yeager in pursuit. Oakman got tackled right there at the 34.
Play call we haven't seen. And to this point, Oakman, not much of a mobile QB. Just prefers to use that strong left arm, but he had space to run there, and he did so. He's got a big, strong body, so he could take some contact. I don't know if Coach Durley wants him to do that, but he certainly has the ability to.
And Oakman, 5'10", 200, also a wrestler as well. In fact, a state qualifier wrestler as well.
That does not shock me in the slightest.
And these are two very big quarterbacks. Oakman at 5'10", 200. Petrie 5'11", 195. They're both very tough to bring down. Petrie runs a lot more than Oakman. But they both got some big arms as well. And there's a guy in the middle line, even in the entire area, honestly. I want to throw a deep ball, Hail Mary. I want the guy with the arm to get it there. I'm probably choosing Stephen Petrie or Dalton Oakman, to be honest.
It's got to be one of these two. Yeah, I would agree. Just in terms of pure arm strength, going to be hard-pressed to find anybody better around the area.
So a flag there, a false start. Going to make it 3rd and 7 and erase that last gain. It's a screen pass caught by Jackson. He's got enough blocks for a first down and much more. R.J. Jackson with the convoy of defenders chasing him gets chased out at the 32. Speed is something that Jackson said that he is working on. He wants to become faster, especially next year, but still a nice pickup there.
Couple flags down in the backfield may have negated that. And yeah, it is going to go on East Peoria, so a huge play that would have set up a potential scoring drive is going to get called back. But shout out to the offensive line getting out there. It's really tough on the left tackles, left guards to get out there on those screen passes and lay the blocks on time. But they were out there doing so. Someone committed a penalty. It'll fortunately have to come back.
The screen passes are great as it's a hold on the Raiders. But the problem with them is again, it's a play that's ripe for penalties. It could be an ineligible man downfield, holding as it was right there, and that will make it 3rd and 12.
I'm going to be shocked if they go right back to it here.
Again, Jackson has just one catch for 6 yards coming into tonight, and his second was just negated. Big 3rd down here for the Raiders. Wind gust kicking up here in East Peoria. Somewhat windy night. Oakman, the lefty, unloads it down the field looking for Kirby. And incomplete. That was Pickles in coverage.
I mean, that ball was chucked from Dalton Oakman. I know it was incomplete, but that landed, past the 40 on the opposite side of the field. So I like the idea. This Coach Durley knowing what he has and the strength of his quarterback. Didn't work out. I think, I don't know. I got options. Going for it here would be incredibly risky. But they did botch the last snap from this area when they tried to punt.
And we received word it was an incomplete pass on that punt that was neither a touchdown nor a safety. Faked us out. Pooch kick from Oakman. It's a high, short one. And received by Bittner, and a late hit there by East Peoria and Kirby. Bittner had already called for the fair catch, and that's going to be probably 15 more. It's not going to help the Raiders.
Yeah, they played a pretty disciplined game up until this last drive. And, yeah, Bittner clearly did wave that right arm. That means no defenders can come within an arm's length of him and much less hit him like the East Peoria Raider did. So, yeah, certainly that'll be 15 yards and really good field position for Metamora.
Again, a big thing, too, for the Redbirds is they've gotten decent field position. Their kick returns have been good. And when you have an offense that's been as good as they've been tonight, it makes it a heck of a lot easier and for them and a heck of a lot tougher for East Peoria to stop them. Less room for error.
Yeah, you're just going, never taking the foot off the gas. That's been what's gotten Metamora so many of these lopsided victories. It looks like they're on the road to one here tonight.
And they're trying to break this one open again with 2.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. It was 34-20. Two-score game. Is a dangerous pass. It's caught by Bittner. They go right back to him. He's our player to watch tonight. First down, Redbirds.
Yeah, having himself a nice little game. Haven't thrown to him a ton because they just haven't thrown a ton in general. But Bittner bobbling that one and able to hold on, evading a hit, and hitting the turf with the first down.
Bittner's been the main target. Haven't looked in the direction of Kylan McMillan too much. He's at the bottom of your screen right now. And they'll go to Pickles. McMillan will block. Pickles down to the 20. Nice tackle there around the ankles. That time by East Peoria's number 20. That's Colton Catton again.
Yeah, Catton called his name a couple times now, having himself a nice game. Off the bench playing some defense. But now second and manageable for the Redbirds as they try to punch it in and get over the half-century mark.
And going back to our keys to the game, this is where Metamora really just can milk the clock. You know, you can run 4 or 5 plays here before you go in the end zone. Or they can just do it right now. Incomplete pass. It was a deep ball from Petrie looking for Braden Cox, who had that kick return for a touchdown earlier, just airmailed a bit too much.
Yeah, it was there, and the angle was right. Braden Cox did his job, ball just very slightly underthrown. That's, with the wind going like this, that's a really, really tough ball to put in the breadbasket.
Brings up a 3rd and down in a must-stop situation here for the Raiders. It'll be 4 wide receivers for Petrie, plus Cranford in the backfield, presumably to help block. No, he's going to run this one on 3rd down. Still up on his feet, and the reinforcements come. That's a nice stop, and a good job not letting Cranford break free on the second chance.
Yeah, that's what they need more of. You have to contain them. I saw one of the Raiders' defensive linemen, couldn't quite see who it was, got a hold of Cranford around the ankles. Well, Devin Hinkle came in to finish the job. You need to force him to the inside and contain him there when he does go to the inside.
So it's a 4th and 4. Redbirds going to keep it here, not try for the field goal. They hand off. We got Jadon Cranford. He got a 1st down. Doesn't have touchdown number 6, but he's down to the 2.
Doesn't have it quite yet, but that was very, very close. Cranford continues to rack up yards after yards after yards. And Metamora not wasting any time here. I'm not surprised. They want to get this one in.
And they're trying to wear this East Peoria defense out. They've been on the field a lot tonight. Touchdown, Metamora. And guess who? It's Jadon Cranford. That is uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis for him tonight.
Couldn't have said it better myself, partner. Very well said. 6 touchdowns. Jadon Cranford, I mean, what can you say about this guy? He's hitting the holes where he needs to and finding the end zone seemingly almost every time he's touching the ball. East Peoria has no answer. And this is the 2nd week in a row I've seen a player get to the 6 touchdown mark. You know, it was Valshawn Powell of the BCC Saints last week, and now Cranford was 6. The only difference is Powell got to the 6 in the 4th quarter a week ago, and I think Cranford has a very, very good chance to get to 7 if he even remains in the game.
That is the key right now. Again, Week 8, playoffs coming up. Metamora's already clinched their spot. 35-point lead. Maybe we will see some of their second stringers come in and finish this one out. But again, Dalton, reminds me back of 2 years ago. Metamora led big.
Same situation.
And Dalton Oakman led a furious comeback and made that one close. So again, not over till it's over. And again, East Peoria, if they can even strike, 1-2 more times, force a turnover, you never know what could happen.
And even if it's not a comeback, to that degree that happened 2 years ago, you need something. You need to build something that you can build on heading into next week against Pekin, with the entire season resting on that game unless something crazy happens here or if something crazy happens over in the Pekin game. But you need to string some plays together, some first downs. I know it's tough going against this opposition, and, with Aiden Hindert, who was having just a phenomenal game out of the receiver slot, not playing this 3rd quarter, and hopefully he's all right for next week.
Again, he wasn't on the field on that first drive of the 3rd. We'll see if he comes back out this time. Pekin still leads Limestone 28-zip. So Dragons look like they're in control to go 4-4. Washington a final over Canton. They win at 48-12. This one is returned from the 7. Here's Catton again, looking to find room on the right side, and runs to the sanctuary of the sideline after a minimal return. But Dalton, we're going to be checking up on this other game quite a bit tonight. Urbana still leads Manual 35-20. Again, Urbana has not won a game since 2019.
That one in the 4th quarter yet?
They are in the 4th quarter.
2019, I was a freshman in high school. Urbana.
I was a freshman at Bradley, yeah.
My goodness. What a moment that would be for that community.
Our Joey Wright, co-founder, co-owner, is an Urbana alum, and he always gives us a lot of crap talking about, we harp on Urbana too much, and now he's convinced they're going to turn their program around. Well, Joey Wright might just prove us right.
He tried
tonight.
He tried to convince the rest of us to pick Urbana over Manual in this week's edition of Pick'em. None of us took the bait, and now we may all look
He's
like
gonna look
fools.
like a genius.
He absolutely is.
First down run there for the Raiders on a nice run. All right, I don't believe that was Jackson. Yeah, Jackson's on the sidelines. Looks like that was Landon Vaughn. And he was our player to watch tonight for East Peoria on the defensive side of things. He also runs a little bit as well.
Guys like that are willing to play both ways, even if they play on defense way more than the offense or vice versa. Those are the kind of guys that can really pull a team together. Really selfless players. That's what East Peoria is full of. And Coach Durley mentioned it talking to him earlier this week, how selfless their squad is.
And it's a team that just wants, not primarily what's best for themselves, but what's best for the program as well. As there's a short run there. That was Trevin Seeley getting the carry there for East Peoria. So some ball carriers we haven't seen quite as much of as Vaughn, comes back onto the field. Going to be a second and about 7 or so.
Keep him ready. You don't know when the playoffs get here. You don't know who's going to have their name called on. East Peoria, as we've mentioned, a smaller roster compared to a lot of their Mid-Illini counterparts, but everybody's got to be ready to go. With the way that games go and injuries happen, everyone has to be prepared.
Not really is quite a thing. Like, bench warmer that doesn't play for East Peoria. Again, a smaller roster, and everyone's got to be ready, especially you've played 7 games this season. You've gone through the rigors, the hard hits, the tackles, not just through the regular season, but also the preseason as well, as that run nearly gets it to a first down. It'll be 3rd and about 1.
Be a big morale booster if they can just pick up a first down here and start stringing something together for the Raiders, especially with a lot of the rotational players in there, and Trevin Seals in there taking some snaps.
Yeah, Seeley at quarterback now. Again, he's a 5'11 junior. Going to be likely a key part of this offense next year after players like Oakman, Hindert, and Lee graduate. Raiders in no hurry here, 3rd and 2. That's a high snap. Seeley can't corral it. Just trying to fall on it. He can't. It's picked up. No, it's not picked up. Now it's picked up by the Redbirds. They get the ball in golden field position and just bouncing around like a bar of soap. And it goes the Redbirds' way.
Yeah, there was 2 players, one on each side that probably should have fallen on that football, and neither of them could get a hold on it. And eventually it's going to be picked up by Metamora. Thought for a second that the Redbird could end up taking it into the end zone, but I think they'll take this ball on the 12-yard line and be perfectly content with that.
So here's a 1st and 10 for the Redbirds as they take over.
Metamora taking an extra second here on the sidelines. Want to get it ball punched in again, and I'll be interested to see if we see some substitutions on the Redbird offense as we have for the Raider offense.
Yeah, and again, we are approaching running clock territory. If Metamora can punch this in and get the lead up to 40 or more, they will do the running clock, which, again, the broadcast we've done, we've seen the last 2 weeks have both been running clock. Here's a running touchdown. 1-play scoring drive for Metamora. Looks like that was Mark Eichelman back up getting the touchdown run after his big game last week.
Not as many handoffs as I thought Eichelman was going to get in this game, but I mean, I guess when Cranford's having the game that he is, you probably are pretty okay with taking a back seat to that. But he's had himself a nice game nonetheless and finds his way into the end zone for his first touchdown of the game.
Again, this game was 28-20 at one point. It's been 34, now 35 straight for Metamora. So they make it 63-20. It started with that kick return for a touchdown by Braden Cox. That's when it became a 2-score game, and then Cranford's 73-yard run. Cranford scored 2 more times, and then Aishelman mop-up duty there, takes care of business in just 1 play.
Good on Coach Dolinsky for, probably being happy with how his team was playing, but also having the wherewithal to identify what things are going wrong and fixing those things, propelling his team even higher up, putting the offense on full display. Because with the 63-20 score, we are indeed in running clock territory, and probably a lot of guys who maybe not have a ton of snaps will be playing the rest of this one. If I had to take a guess, rest up everybody for what it's going to be a big Week 9 for both of these teams.
Yeah, again, season is still not done. You can't just be like, oh, this, go home after this and, pack it up. East Peoria's got to get back on the field and take on Pekin, who Pekin's been a banged-up team this year. If it wasn't for some key injuries, Ty Jackson, their running back's been hurt. Dylan Anderson, they're arguably one of their best players in the entire area overall, out for the season, torn ACL, so that's unfortunate for Pekin. So they haven't really been able to quite live up to those expectations this season. They were talked about as a middle-line title contender. I think now they're just trying to get into the playoffs, but again, they've performed well in the last 2 when their backs against the wall.
Right, it's 2 teams, both East Peoria and Pekin, that are better than what the records show, better than what the score sheets show. 2 teams that are tremendously respected across the middle line, 2 really good coaches, and players that are ready to give it their all, and they have no choice but to do that next Friday. And remind me where that game is. Is that over in Pekin?
That
or is
will
that right
be at
here?
Memorial Stadium in Pekin, which is always a great atmosphere. The largest stadium by capacity.
Really?
In the Mid-Illini, so it will be a good one next week.
I would have almost guaranteed that would have been this one. So that surprises me a little bit.
This one is close. Again, at Pekin, they have full bleachers that probably go up. I mean, we're talking probably 20, 30 rows at least on both sides. Again, not just the home side, also the opposing side. So if East Peoria, they bring out the entire town, well, there's probably a spot for them in Pekin next week. As East Peoria takes over deep in their own territory, field position has not been kind to them recently. As a gang tackle there for the Redbirds brings up a short game. I'll try and get some players who are in the game right now for the Redbirds. And Celian at quarterback for East Peoria, number 1 in maroon. You see him trotting out on your screen right there. As we approach a minute to go here in this third quarter. 4 wide receivers on this play for Sealy and the Raiders. Let's just see the backup just complete a pass or 2. It's always good to see. You never expect him to. Always good when they do. He's going to keep this one and get driven back. Big tackle from the Redbirds defense. Looks like that was Alex Lund making that tackle, sophomore linebacker.
Yeah, a couple backups getting into the linebacking core, the defensive back core, getting some reps, next man up. A lot of them probably expected or maybe they didn't expect to get into the game tonight, but they're ready to go, and I commend them for that.
Braden Cox, Ty Duncan on the field right now for Metamora. Again, pretty much a full line change for their defense. So we'll try and bring you who's out on the field right now. As we can see it, as the third quarter comes to a close, Metamora opens up their lead, and it's 12 more to go before they pick up win number 7 of the season. Right back after these messages on CIProud.com.
Wright's Furniture in beautiful downtown Pontiac provides the highest quality furniture for your home. Kick back and watch the game in one of our cozy recliners, or experience a wonderful night's sleep in one of our luxurious mattresses. Visit Wright's Furniture for comfort and quality.
Looking for a getaway close to home? Discover Mackinac Valley Vineyard, wine country in your own backyard. Sip handcrafted wines on the wraparound deck. Take in stunning views of the rolling countryside and make memories that last a lifetime. From relaxing afternoons to lively weekend nights, there's always something happening, like outdoor concerts, festivals, and private events under the stars. Come for the wine, stay for the experience. Visit MackinacValleyVineyard.com to see what's on our calendar.
Willow Lane Yoga and Wellness is now open at 7800 North Summer, featuring yoga, mat Pilates, reformer Pilates, and our exclusive to the area Fuse ladders. Find out why we're different at willowlaneyoga.com.
Welcome back to East Peoria. Metamora is rolling over the Raiders right now, 63-20, and have scored 35 straight. Defense looking to make another stop here on 3rd and 6. Raiders on their own 10. It's a handoff. It's like to Preston Jones, number 40. There for EP. He did not get the first down. I think that was actually, it might have been Landon Vaughn, number 48. So Oakman is back on the field now for East Peoria, Dalton, but he's doing it in a, what we assume to be a punting role, not quarterback.
I would sure think so, 4th and 6. I mean, you don't really have any reason to go for it here from this spot in the field.
Well, there might. Metamora is not sending anyone back. So maybe they're bringing Oakman in just to maybe throw a pass here, see what happens on 4th down. Again, Oakman could pooch punt it as well. Book is wide open right now. And one player out wide. Looks like that's Fincham, and it will be a kick from Oakman.
It's a good punt.
That is a good one. Bounces at the 45. Still going. Takes a lot of East Peoria rolls. And that'll go down to about the 33-yard line. So that is going to go as a 57-yarder for Dalton Oakman.
Got that one up into the wind and let it do its magic. That's knowing the elements right there and using that strong left foot.
And we'll see who Metamora's offense brings out now. Again, Aishelman, their backup running back, just got their last touchdown. Maybe you might see Christian Nelson, Metamora's backup quarterback. We will see. Braden Cox is out there. Parker McDonald out there, a wide receiver as well. And it looks like that is Nelson at quarterback. So backup QB in the game for Metamora with 10:04 to go. He'll try and lead his team on a scoring drive. Nice run there of about 7 there. The right side has really been the spot where Metamora has found a lot of success on the ground tonight.
Yeah, the offensive line's really figured it out over there. You know, Riley Blue, Logan Grappier, right guard and right tackle respectively, using their big bodies and experience. You know, Riley Blue, a senior, Logan Grapp, a sophomore. Doing a really nice job all game long.
And the right tackle in there right now is 64. That's James Margario. I botched that last name for sure. James Margario. We'll go with that. Here's a 2nd down. Now back to 1st down there after that carry. Looks like that was 17 for Metamora. That's Paul Deeb, senior running back, getting a carry there. He is and part of that very deep running back room. And Dalton, again, looking ahead for Metamora, going to the playoffs. We say teams that run win late in the season, and Metamora's got a lot of ball carriers. That's going to bode well for them.
You got to run, especially in the high school ranks. I mean, more often than not, you're coming across teams that rely heavy on the run, rely heavy on the trenches.
Oh, Deeb spun around and got leveled. What a hit there from the EP defense. That was Noe Retagan. A brick wall bringing down Deeb right there.
6 foot, 260 pounds coming right at you. Hello. I wouldn't want to take that hit. Luckily, everybody's all right, and it was a clean hit.
Indeed, too. And the backup is going to ball out here. They're going to be giving it their all, trying to shine under the Friday night lights. Nice tackle there made by Catton on Deeb. It's going to set up a 3rd and long.
Catton may be playing himself into a couple more reps here.
I think so.
I think he's had a couple really nice tackles against a couple different Metamora players and a good return as well. A guy that you can rely on, you know, especially if hindered it's unavailable next week. And maybe slide Catton in there somewhere and have him get the rock a couple times.
And again, East Peoria's stars tonight. Oakman played pretty well. Hindert having a great game until he got hurt. And Keemon Lee got pulled out of the game after a flag personal foul on him earlier. And then R.J. Jackson had He had a good run tonight as Deeb makes it 4th and short. Jackson had that one long run of 80 yards, looked really good right there. Saw that, flashed that potential, but most of his carries tonight, unfortunately, were for shorter yardage.
Yeah, it's every time he was getting the handoff, it seemed he was swarmed by 3 or 4 white jerseys. And R.J. Jackson's one of the best running backs in the conference, but even he, when you're going against that much, sometimes it can just be tough to try to get loose and find a little bit of green.
So 4th and 2, no question. East Peoria is going for this one. Deeb gets the call again. He is going to be close, Dalton. I think he's short.
I also think he's short, and the referee closest to us signals that as well. So solid defensive stand from the East Peoria second stringers.
And their D-line now of Dirty Dale, number 68.
It's on his jersey. It's on the back of his jersey, Dirty Dale.
We have got to find a story behind that. Again, that is.
I don't know how I missed that while preparing for this.
We assume that is his birthday. Maybe not a nickname, but
on the back of his jersey, I'm pretty sure it says Dirty Dale on the back of his jersey. Number 68.
Sophomore
for EP.
Did call his name earlier in this broadcast. Also, I saw Trevor Ham, I think, might have been in on that tackle for East Peoria as their offense takes over now.
Yeah, there he is on the sideline. It says Dirty Dale on the back of his jersey. That's incredible. That's awesome.
Oh.
Hey, he checked in for a special teams extra point. They made the extra point, so coincidence? I don't think so.
Hey, Dirty Dale might lift East Peoria maybe next week. You never know. Could be the difference between them going to the playoffs. Innocence of high school football there as Sealy is in some trouble. Nowhere to go. Got caught in a corner and just kept on going backwards.
Yeah, the Metamora defense, rather, kind of taking notes from their first stringers. Multiple times we saw that exact same play coming off the edges, getting to the backfield and dropping the ball carrier for a TFL.
And it's going to go as a loss of 6. Therefore, Sealy. And wide receivers for East Peoria still some of the same. You got at number 12, you got, is that Oakman? Oh, I saw number 12 line up at wide receiver. That would be Oakman. Not quite sure if I saw that correctly. Fincham is out there as well. As there's a handoff going to number 44. That's John Asher. Came in tonight with 20 carries for 60 yards and a touchdown. That was not Oakman, by the way. I believe that was Eli Raymer out there out wide. So, again, just trying to identify some of these guys on the field. Again, may not see them too often, but, hey, we see them. We give them some love on Friday night.
They work just as hard. They're going to practice, 4 or 5 days a week, going to lifting, just like the starters are. So commend them for their effort all season long, especially here tonight, as they get quite a few reps.
Probably more than maybe they wanted to. Either if you're in the game, it's either a really good sign or a not so good sign, as they're not going to get the first down there on that run from Landon Vaughn. But looking ahead, Dalton, for both these teams, obviously Metamora, a big game next week against Dunlap. Both those teams are in the playoffs. They've clinched their spot. But seeding very much on the line. Both those teams, I think a win would essentially lock up for either one of them a home playoff game. And for East Peoria, obviously, as we talked about earlier, win and you're in, lose and go home against Pekin.
Right. I mean, big games in completely different ways for both of these teams a week from tonight. Yeah, Metamora, Dunlap, that's got game of the year potential. That's one of the best matchups you could possibly have in the Mid-Illini Conference, and a true coin flip game. I've really trusted in both of these teams all season long.
What a
neither of them
there.
let me down. It's going to go out the back of the end zone, but that was a really good punt.
I think it's going to go all the way down to the railroad tracks, down the gulch down there behind the.
It nearly got into the goal. Actually, it's still going. Is it going to get
in?
Is it going to get in?
That's a goal.
That's across the line.
That's a goal.
That's in.
How about that? I don't know if he was aiming for that, but
I hope he was, because that's absolutely awesome.
That's right down the middle of the goal. And great work by our camera operator, Micah Raven, right there. following that all the way in. Unbelievable. East Peoria, there's
no VAR needed for that one, baby. That's in the back of the net.
That is no offside flags either. That is a goal for East Peoria, who yesterday they played, their soccer team played Orion Sherrard, and they did not score a goal. It was a 0-0 draw. So more goals on the football field than when the soccer guys are here.
Oh, we have seen it all tonight, partner. Goodness.
Oh, my gosh. We've seen baby dolls here. We've seen kick returns for touchdowns. We've seen safeties that are incomplete passes we thought were safeties. I mean, it has just been just about everything you could ever imagine here on CIProud.com tonight. Again, we'll be at a different game next week, so a lot of great ones on tap. There's Shelbyville and El Paso Gridley. There's Normal Community at Peoria High. That's going to be a great game. It should be for the Big 12 title.
Yes, please. Sign me up.
Going to be a great one for sure. A lot of other good ones as well. IVC taking on Rantoul. Great Ghost trying to get a win. And there's a first down run there for the Birds. So it looked like that might have been Vinny Rasmussen there on that carry.
Limestone Canton next week as well.
Yeah, Limestone Canton. Yeah, big game for both those teams. Obviously, they're both winless, and they're going to be 0-8 going into it. But big opportunity to grab a win before the season. EP Pekin, Washington Morton should also be good as well.
Always is.
By the way, Peoria High did beat Bloomington in our other game tonight. That was a 40-14 final down at the Fred Carlton Field in Bloomington.
More of the same from Coach Montgomery and his Lions. They are some kind of team every single year.
They have responded well, and so is Metamora. They responded really well after that Week 3 loss to Washington. They dropped it 24-0. Tough game for them, but Dalton Carmine, they look mighty strong right now. A dominant win tonight here on East Peoria Senior Night, 63-20, and they are 7-1 on the season.
Yeah, it was a questionable start for Metamora. You know, the offense was there. It always has been, always will be, but offense was there. Defense was struggling to contain the Raiders of East Peoria, but the adjustments made by Coach Dolinsky and just the senior leadership of this team, it all came together, and they started pouring it on. Never looked back. And yet, like you said earlier, partner, it started with that kickoff return from Cox.
Yeah, and again, Metamora did not allow a point after the 9:05 mark of the second quarter. So tough start for them defensively. They really turned it on late. We'll be right back to finish things up and break things down one more time after this.
You deserve local news that checks all the boxes. Your WMBD News team will bring you
engaging and informative stories. Check.
Newsmaker interviews getting your questions answered. Check.
Accurate up-to-the-second forecasts that keep your family safe. Check. The best in local sports highlights from across Central Illinois. Check.
No matter what, WMBD will be right here to bring you the news that matters most to you.
WMBD, Central Illinois proud.
Not just Dale.
Welcome back here to East Peoria, where Metamora celebrating a big win over the Raiders. Dalton picking an MVP for this game. Pretty
easy. That's exactly right.
Jadon Cranford with 6 touchdowns.
Count them up. I mean, when you can't count the number of touchdowns he has on one hand, you know you had yourself one heck of a ball game. He was doing it on any down and distance. He was doing it physically. He was doing it with his speed, putting defenders on skates. East Peoria had no answer from the opening snap, and that's huge for a Metamora team that really wasn't sure if he was going to be 100% healthy this week or beyond.
Yeah, again, that was the big storyline. He looked more than healthy tonight. He looked at his absolute best. 6 TDs for Cranford Keys, the big win. Aiden Hinder, 2 touchdown receptions for EP. RJ Jackson also an 80-yard touchdown run as well. But it's the Redbirds winning it in a shootout. Thanks for joining us again in our WMBD Game of the Week. For all of our Clutch Sports Media crew, Mark Wagner, Patrice Cusick, John Shikoda, and Micah Rabin. Jalen Harris also here as well with us. And my broadcast partner, Dalton Carmine. I'm Jonathan Michael saying so long and good night from the East Side Center. Redbirds stay hot with their 5th straight win. Have a great rest of your weekend.